Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Megan Connor, and I am the Deputy Director of Bar Programs and Engagement here at the Virginia State Bar, and I'd like to welcome you to today's Lunch and Learn program, VSB Resources and Programs for Law Students. The VSB's Virtual Lunch and Learn program offers monthly informational webinars featuring topics of interest to current and hopefully future members of the Virginia State Bar. We hope you will continue to tune in and learn more about the programs and initiatives of the VSB. During today's program, we're going to do a deep dive into resources and opportunities the VSB has for law students. Just a few housekeeping announcements before I turn the program over to today's presenters. This is an informational webinar and is not approved for continuing legal education credit. The materials for today's program can be found under the Handouts tab in GoToWebinar, and we will also send a follow-up email with links and attachments. You may use the questions feature to submit your questions to the presenters throughout the program, and we encourage you to do so. And now I'd like to briefly introduce our panelists. Today we are joined not only by one of my colleagues here at the bar, but also representatives from 3 of the VSB's 21 substantive law sections. While many other sections offer opportunities for law students to get involved, our time today allows us just to highlight a few. So first, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Mallory Ralston, who is the Director of Bar Programs and Engagement at the VSB. Next, we have Carolee Krogman, who is the Chair of the Family Law Section. Next, we have Wahaj Memon, Chair of the Local Government Law Section. Next, we have Peter Hilton, who is Vice Chair of the Corporate Counsel Section. And finally, we are joined by Isabella Capana, who is a member of the Corporate Counsel Section and past recipient of one of the awards that we're discussing today. I want to thank all of our presenters for taking the time today to join us, and I'd like to pass the mic to my colleague Mallory to kick us off.
Thanks so much, Megan, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon to learn more about engaging and utilizing your Virginia State Bar as a current Virginia law student. We hope that you'll learn more today about the resources available to you and take advantage of some of them. I'm going to start out kind of high level and give you more of an overview of the Virginia State Bar. If you are going to practice in Virginia, which of course we hope that you do, you will become a member of the Virginia State Bar. It is a mandatory bar that is governed by its council and its executive committee, which are comprised of volunteers who are elected or appointed from all over the state. And the staff here at the VSB are incredibly fortunate to work with hundreds of dedicated volunteers who serve on committees, section boards, on our executive committee and council who guide programming that will help achieve the VSB's mission, which is to protect the public, to regulate the profession of Virginia, to advance access to legal services, and to assist in improving the legal profession and the judicial system. As Megan had mentioned, we have several VSB sections, only a few are represented today. We have a total of 24, and these sections are devoted to specific practice areas or stages of your legal career. For example, the young lawyer section or the senior lawyer section, each with a board of governors that strives to provide resources and unique programming that will benefit section members and lawyers interested in that practice area. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just to kind of navigate through a few websites on our Virginia State Bar website. And the section page is where I'm going to start. You can navigate to that by going to vsb.org and under About and click Sections. This is the hub that contains the 24 landing pages for each of our sections. So this is a great place to check out. You can see which practice areas are included in the sections that are offered through the Virginia State Bar. So in a few moments, you'll hear from just a few of the wonderful section leaders about law student opportunities specific to their section's practice area. But I want to start more generally with ways that you can get involved with the VSB as a law student. So one of which being getting involved with the sections. And most of our sections were kind of undergoing a bylaws transition at the moment, but most of our sections allow for a non-voting membership option for law students, and that is typically offered at no cost. And you can sign up for one or all 24 of those sections via a sign-up form that will be distributed to you following this webinar. It will also be publicized on our website, and I'm just going to give you a quick glimpse of what that looks like. So this form is essentially asking you in which law school you're currently enrolled and which sections you would like to participate in, and so that we can make sure that you're getting communications that are prepared for and sent to each section's memberships. Joining a VSB section as a law student member provides a chance for you to participate in and provide insight for programs and resources that you feel would benefit you as a future Virginia attorney. Sections are regularly seeking involvement from younger lawyers and from law students. Getting plugged into a community like a section can help you establish an early professional identity. Many sections issue publications and welcome article submissions from law students, so there's a chance for you to get published. Networking and building relationships are an obvious benefit. These can lead to future internships, clerkships, client referrals, mentorships, just from getting to know new people who are in the same area you're striving to be practicing in. Involvement in a section can increase exposure to emerging issues in your intended practice area. We know your professors are doing a great job of that already, but as time goes on, there are constantly changes, and our sections do a great job of covering those and making sure that their members stay informed. Joining a section can aid in a smoother transition post-graduation. You'll have a sense of belonging, and you'll have contacts to help make the first few years of practice less overwhelming. Some VSB sections will even come to you. You'll hear from our corporate counsel representative in just a few minutes. Upon request, the environmental law section would be happy to take the Environmental Lawyers Roadshow, which is a panel of attorneys, to environmental law student groups in Virginia's law schools. They actually have a program this week at UVA who has a very avid environmental law group. The environmental law section also offers a monthly newsletter and a fellowship, so be sure to check that out on the awards page that will be shared with you in just a few moments. Some VSB sections provide programming to high school and undergraduate or non-traditional students, like later in life attorneys who are interested in pursuing a career in the law. For example, the Young Lawyers section hosts a diversity pre-law conference that exposes college students to many aspects of a legal career. The Diversity and Young Lawyers sections team up to facilitate a week-long Oliver Hill Samuel Tucker Pre-Law Institute, which is available to high school students interested in entering the legal profession. And I know today we're focusing on opportunities and benefits available to law students, but if you know somebody who's interested in pursuing a career in the law, you can direct them to these section websites to learn more and get more people involved. The VSB also has a summer internship that is available. That application deadline is February 13th. Again, this link will be shared with you post-course, but this is available on our website under job opportunities available at the VSB. So take a peek if you're still looking for that summer internship. The VSB actually, in January, launched a new statewide pro bono portal in partnership with a pro bono management platform called Paladin. This is super cool, and you can navigate to this through the VSB's website through access to legal services and giving back to your community. So this is a great access to justice initiative, and one of the coolest things about this new platform, you can actually sort by who should volunteer. And if I click on this, I have the ability to click law students, and I would only be able to see opportunities that are available for me to participate in as a law student. So that is a super cool new tool that we brought to members of the VSB and to law students who are interested in participating. I know there are more opportunities to participate in pro bono as law students these days, so definitely take advantage of that. And let's see, I have not experienced this myself. I'm not an attorney, but I've heard from many of our younger attorneys that graduating law school, passing your bar exam, and joining the bar is incredibly overwhelming. You are getting hundreds of emails from various entities, and it can be hard to determine what's required or what's recommended, and which is the right path for you to get plugged in. And then how do you do all of that while navigating a new job or a really heavy workload? So I'm just going to give you a few tips for accessing programs and trying to maximize the benefits of early engagement. If you already have a mentor, please ask them like the best path forward and ask them for tips or recommendations. Don't be shy. If you do not have a mentor, there are several programs out there. The VSB does not currently have a direct mentorship network, but the sections, getting involved with the section would kind of offer that organically. I would encourage you to get involved with the Young Lawyers section and sections related to your practice area. There are also dozens of local and specialty bars in the across the state. Some are based on your locality, but there's also the Virginia Criminal Defense Attorneys, Virginia Women's Attorneys Association, some other specialty bars that might speak to you and the path that you want to be on. I encourage you to participate in networking opportunities and find a mentor and increase your connections. And you can do that through participating in events that are hosted by these kinds of groups. I encourage you to stay connected. Volunteering for tasks that align with your values is really important to a lot of people, and it's becoming more evident to us. Volunteering can help you improve your skill set or help you branch out into a new practice area. For example, the Young Lawyers section hosts a Wills for Heroes program that does not require you to be a trust and estates attorney to participate. So if you're looking to dabble in the trust and estates world, that's a great program for you to kind of dip your toe, as well as pro bono opportunities are great for that as well. You can also practice your legal writing skills by authoring short articles, either through the Virginia State Bar's publications or through publications produced by VSB sections. There are also a lot of volunteer roles that help you avoid overcommitment, which I can understand is adding to that overwhelming feeling when you're getting established as a new attorney. You can serve on a nominating committee for a section, and that is approximately a 1-hour time commitment. So look for opportunities like that where your section is, your future section is imploring you to participate in a very limited capacity. It's just a great way to get plugged in. I encourage you to learn about the bar. Understanding governance, staff roles versus volunteer roles, how decisions get made makes you a lot more effective as an attorney and would set you apart from people who just show up and hope for the best. Spend some time on the VSB website and just explore and see what resources are available to you. The VSB has a lot of benefits for its members, like free trust accounting software, and several others. So I encourage you to take some time to just navigate through the VSB website. And I just want to mention too, early involvement isn't always about building your resume. That's certainly a benefit, and that's something we don't really see here. We don't regularly encounter volunteers who are just looking for something to beef up their resume. They really care about getting involved and about giving back to the profession and giving back to the community. You'll, I think, find the longer you stay involved and the more that you give, you will continue to build your credibility and grow relationships and manifest some opportunities that could show up later when you least expect them, client referrals, etc. And then I just want to talk a little bit too about the difference between the VSB as a mandatory bar versus bar associations, like I mentioned previously, like local and specialty bars. As I mentioned before, the VSB is a mandatory bar, and there are several other bar associations that are opt-in, the voluntary membership, and they all offer something a little different. So I encourage you to just do some exploring. You may know somebody who's already involved with some of those bar associations and how each membership benefits them differently. So don't leave those out. And lastly, I'm going to finish with some resources. So whenever you become an attorney, you'll become really familiar with your bar's MCLE requirements. VSB sections regularly sponsor free and low-cost CLE courses for members, and many are practice specific but might not be restricted to only section members. And we have these available regularly on our website. So I'm just going to toggle to this screen here. If you are on the VSB website and you go to calendar and free and low cost webinars, it will take you to this page. And we have a custom list of VSB sponsored opportunities that is, like I said, constantly updated and available on our website. So while most of these are eligible for CLE credit, and you might not need that as a law student, these could be still very informative to you. So I encourage you to check out some of these recorded programs. All right, and then once you become a lawyer, part of what I was saying earlier about being overwhelmed and kind of trying to figure out what's required versus maybe recommended, also on our website, we have a page under lawyers and admission and registrations that highlights information for new Virginia lawyers. It's specific to people who are just getting started, and going over some key things like your mandatory continuing legal education requirements and the professionalism course requirement, admission with the bar, other opportunities available to you. Some are mandatory, some are not. So keep that link in your back pocket whenever you join the Virginia Bar. That will be helpful to you. A couple other resources I want to highlight, the Virginia Judges and Lawyers Assistance Program. Several of you may have had a representative from, we call it JLAP. You may have had a representative from JLAP come to your law school. This is a fantastic resource that is available to law students. A lot of people don't know that. It is available to lawyers and judges, hence the name, and it is also available to law students and often spouses who are experiencing something that their partner is going through, and this is a free service. It's confidential. I recommend you save this link and visit their student page to learn ways that this service can be helpful to you while you're still in law school. It's not lost on anybody that the law school experience can be daunting and very stressful. So please remember that as a resource. And lastly, I'm saving the best for last. I hope that several of you tuned in today, hoping to learn about some awards that are available through our practice-specific sections available to law students. And so on this last page here that you will be getting a link directly to this, especially in the follow-up materials. You'll be getting a link to this that highlights several of the awards, fellowships, and other perks that are available through practice-specific sections through the VSB. And I'll just note that the application criteria and the deadlines for each award vary. So please read those carefully, make sure that you are eligible for the ones that you would like to apply. And many have a late winter or early spring deadlines, which is why Megan was very timely in scheduling this Lunch and Learn program so that we make sure you get the information you need so that you can apply in time before the rest of your semester gets carried away. So that's all I have. Feel free to post any questions in the chat. I'll be here and happy to answer those, but I will toss it back to Megan so you can hear from some of the other people on the webinar. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mallory, for the overview. That was really, really helpful. And thank you for walking us through some of those links. As Mallory mentioned in her remarks, we are going to send up a very detailed follow-up email that's going to have the links and attachments that you need. So don't worry about copying and pasting those right now. We will follow up and make sure that you have those. Now that we're talking about our sections, it's a perfect segue to hand the mic over to our representatives from our 3 different sections. We are going to start with Carolee Krogman, who is the chair of the Family Law section, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the Family Law section's law student opportunities.
Hi there, my name is Carolee Krogman. I am a partner with the firm of Krogman, Miller, and Dragone in Tyson's Corner. I'm in my 29th year of practice, and as stated, I am the current chair of the Family Law section. The Family Law section is busy, and we like it that way. We like to provide many resources to the public at large and to lawyers and to law students. And when looking at law students, how can law students be involved? Well, the big thing, and Mallory touched on it a teeny bit, is there is an upcoming writing competition that the Virginia State Bar Family Law section, in conjunction with the Virginia chapter of the American Academy of Matrimonial Lawyers, or AAML, is co-sponsoring. It's in our 4th year, and it's open to all 2nd and 3rd year law students from Virginia and Washington, D.C. law schools. There is a suggested there are 2 suggested topics, and this year's suggested topics are cohabitation without marriage, should Virginia expand rights for non-marital partners, and the second one is AI. So it's artificial reproduction and parentage law in Virginia. Who is the parent in the age of IVF donors and gestational carriers? So 2 very different and somewhat up and coming topics, and we're excited to see the submissions. Again, 2,500 words. Those are the 2 suggested topics. You have until March 16th to submit your writings, and the great thing about that is the winner will receive $1,000, $1,000 cash prize. And in addition to that, and for lots of law students and young lawyers, something that's even more exciting is you will get published. And the Virginia Family Law section has the Virginia Family Law Quarterly, which comes out 4 times a year, and you would be, your article would be published in the Virginia Family Law Quarterly, and you would receive the cash prize at the April 2026 Family Law Seminar in Richmond, Virginia. Also available to a member of, because of our section, we offer the Family Law Book Award that is given each year at each school to one student who has shown extreme success in the area of family law. So that is given to a graduate of that school. So that is something that is nominated by your family law professors. So definitely excel in family law, show your interest, speak with your professors, and the Family Law Book Award is available to you. Also for young, not only young lawyers, but for young law students, there's the ability to attend CLEs. We are open to everyone to come and to learn. So we have 2 big CLEs. Typically, there is one in October and there is one in April. They are offered in Richmond, Fairfax, and Tidewater. Also, they are available online. Don't be scared. The one in April is called the Advanced Family Law Seminar, but it's open to everyone, and really it's very informative. We'd love to have you come to the one. It is live in Richmond. We'd love for you to come. We'd love to meet you. It's a great way to connect, to meet other people, to explore internship opportunities, things of such as that. So please do come meet us. Also, too, whether you win the contest or not, or if you have another article that's not on the area of IVF or on the area of the cohabitation, you can submit an article to the Virginia Family Law Quarterly, either as a law student, a young lawyer, or a practitioner. So please feel free to do so. The Family Law Quarterly is highlighted on our website. It's great to get your name out there. It's a great way to connect. Take a look at our quarterly if you haven't, because it's a great opportunity to see people with whom you might have an interest, share common interest, and it's good to look for job search that way. Actually, if you're like, wow, this is a great article, I'm really interested in IVF, well, you see the people who are writing in that area, and then you can connect with those people. So I definitely suggest that. One of the Virginia State Bar Family Law section has a young lawyers liaison on our board, and they're wonderful. And our past, Rahi, our past family law section liaison, developed something called the Mentor-Mentee Directory. And it helps to connect young lawyers with more, I will say, seasoned attorneys. It's a website that's available on the Virginia State Bar, and free of charge. It gives you the name and the opportunity. You've put in your information, they match you up with another lawyer. I've worked with a few different lawyers through this process, and I've learned from them just as I hope they've learned from me. So please, if you have a question, if you have a case that's tough or an area you just don't really understand, reach out to those lawyers who would be happy to speak with you. And I cannot stress to you the importance of volunteering. Volunteering will benefit others, but it will also benefit you in ways you never realized. So, reach out to the boards, the different areas that you're interested in, see what opportunities they have, take that leap of faith, and you'll make some great friends and some wonderful professional connections in the process. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Carolee, for sharing about the family law section. It does sound like you guys have a lot going on, so kudos to you all for accomplishing so much, and thank you again for sharing. Next, I would like to introduce Wahaj Memon, who is the chair of the local government law section. Wahaj, you have the floor if you'd like to share a little bit about what the local government law section is up to.
Thanks so much, Megan. So my name is Wahaj. I am a county attorney out in Arlington County, just outside of DC. I've been practicing local government law for about 15, 16 years now, and I think a good place to probably start is what exactly is local government law. So when I was going through the process of going to law school, all I really knew was what you would see on TV, like Law and Order. I'd be like, oh, that's what I want to do. I had no idea that there was a subset, all these subsets of various areas of law. So in my third year of law school, I interned in the city of Alexandria, their city attorney's office, and I found out that there was this area of law where I could touch constitutional law, I would touch real property, I could do transactional stuff. I would do land use. And not only that, we go up against the high, powerful attorneys from the big law firms, and we do it within the first couple of years. So for me, that was a chance to sort of go out there and prove myself. So I started off in the Prince William County Attorney's Office. I went to Loudoun County, and now I'm in the Arlington County Attorney's Office. So if constitutional law, if that's something you're interested in, if you're interested in eminent domain, if you're interested in land use, if you're interested in employment law, any complex transactional stuff, local government law, you touch on all that. And I haven't even touched on the litigation that we do. For me right now, what I do in Arlington is I do all the complex transactional stuff. I do real estate law, I do land use. So I do complex transactional stuff with big places like Amazon, Dominion Energy, any of those big firms that need to come out here and they need to build something, they've got to come to the county attorney's office. So if that's something of interest to you, I would highly recommend local government law to you. We have a number of exciting opportunities for law students. The biggest one is our fellowship that we offer for summer 1Ls and 2Ls. It's $4,000. We like to split it between two students. Sometimes we have just one or two or even three applications, to be honest with you, and we struggle to give out the $4,000. The deadline is April 1st. The information is on the State Bar website. I would highly encourage you to apply. We do try to find localities that, you know, usually either they don't have a big budget. We like to give those students that go work for those localities the $4,000, or we split it. But it's definitely an avenue to certainly consider. If you take an internship, you don't have any, you're not getting paid. It's an easy way to get $2,000, $4,000. We also have our Journal of Local Government Law. We're always looking for articles. I know those of you that have taken property law, if you are willing to write for the journal, we would obviously love to take a look at your article that you've written about. We'd love to publish it. We also have a Did You Know section. Now, this is kind of like a small blurb that we like to include in our actual journal. So as an interesting example, we recently had one where there's a state code section that talks about how dogs have to be leashed and cats don't have to be leashed. So it was kind of a spin on how the General Assembly seems to be favoring cats over dogs. It was just an interesting tidbit of the law and local government. We also offer webinars to the new attorneys. If you're looking for free webinars, they're not in person, obviously. You can just log on, get your CLEs done. If you see an interest, if you see, it's a great way to network too. If you see something like, oh, hey, this deals with environmental regulations, because local government attorneys, they deal with environmental regulations all the time. If that's up your alley, that's also a good way to network that way as well. So I would just recap by saying that, local government law basically touches on a number of areas of law, and to be honest with you, there are areas that I haven't even touched yet, and I've been doing this for 16 years, and I've never gotten the same question twice. I always think I finished one thing, I'm gonna be doing that again, and then something else happens. As an example, today there was a water main break. It sounds simple enough, but we need to get property rights to be able to get onto the property. So we had to finesse that whole situation. It took most of my morning, but I'm hoping to never deal with that again, but I know something else weird will come up. So it always keeps me on my toes, and it's always interesting. And those are the exciting opportunities we have. I'll get back to you, Megan.
Thank you so much, Wahaj. That was very interesting. I did not know there was so much involved with local government law, so thank you for sharing. And now I would like to move on to our final section that we're going to spotlight today, which is the corporate counsel section. We have two representatives today. First, we have Peter Hilton, who's the vice chair of the section, and we have Isabella Capana, who is a member of the section and also a past award winner. So Peter, I will hand the mic to you to get us started.
Great, thank you, Megan, and hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm glad to be joined by Isabella. I'll speak first and then hand it off to her so that she can talk a little bit about the experience of the award. Let me talk more about the corporate counsel section generally. Myself, we'll start there. I started 4.5 years at a law firm, didn't really have in-house or corporate counsel on my radar, but through Happy accidents and recruiters, ended up with a roughly 8-year career as an in-house lawyer spread across a couple organizations. Currently, I'm actually in a non-legal business leadership role, which is a great story itself. I can say that since it's my story. But I got involved in this section early in my in-house career, and I'll touch a little more on that later. Our section, given that we draw from folks who have a wide variety of practice areas, in-house litigators, more business focused like myself, regulatory, commercial contracts, what have you. We try to build a great networking resource, low pressure on-ramp for folks who are new to in-house or interested in in-house. We don't check your credentials at the door. We have folks who are in law firms because they started in-house, or they're in law firms because they want to go in-house, or you name it. The purpose of the group is we're very much focused on mentorship, development, engagement, and building that bridge for in-house attorneys, many of whom may be in small legal departments or single attorneys in organizations and don't have necessarily the same automatic network of a larger law firm or of a bar association. So moving on to some of the things that we've done as a section that are particular interest to law students, is the Corporate Counsel Section Award, which you've heard mentioned a few times. Isabella will talk a little more about that, but at the highest level, it's a $3,000 award for a brief writing sample. We award it twice, once each year in connection with the bar exam. Importantly for that, we don't expect you to have an in-house counsel job lined up when you submit for the award. The prompt every year is focused on opportunities that you see or that you'd like to pursue, assuming you got your ideal in-house counsel job, as ways to benefit the corporate counsel section. Beyond just the award, one of the other things that we do a lot of is law student engagement through law school panels. I think that's probably one of our most impactful initiatives. We get between 2 and 4 in-house lawyers to come out, do a panel. Usually there's lunch involved, right? We'll spring for that. And we get everywhere from 5 students with a really in-depth discussion to, I think we've had some panels with upwards of 50 students attending, just depending on the law school and the interest level. And it's been really rewarding for those of our attorneys who are able to participate, but also for the law students. We like to say they demystify in-house practice. We can tell you a little bit about what the day-to-day looks like, how careers evolve, how in-house can fit alongside firms, government, or other paths. And because few students are going straight from law school into an in-house role, we think that that's one of the most important things that we could do, is kind of put this on everybody's radar. Occasionally, those conversations have led to small informal opportunities, unpaid or informational type internships, sometimes paid employment as well. Again, we encourage law students of all types, kind of regardless of what domain of law specifically interests you, to come and understand how a practice setting of being in-house could be something that fits into your career path. And I'd also say, from Virginia's 8 law schools, we usually only get to 5 or 6 every year. There's, for various reasons, whether it's logistical on our end, on the school's end. So if we don't have a panel scheduled at your law school, we'd encourage you to give us a heads up, and also let your administrators know that that's something that you'd be interested in. And we can usually find plenty of in-house attorneys who'd be happy to spend the afternoon with some law students, as long as we can sort the logistics. I talked a bit about community and mentorship being key things that we focus on with the corporate counsel section, and I'll end there by telling you a little bit of my personal story that I hinted at. When I moved out of Virginia, I was a full member of the bar. I'd only been practicing for about 4.5 years, so waving into another bar was not going to be possible right away. So I registered as in-house counsel when I moved for an in-house role, but kept my Virginia bar membership. And when COVID rolled around, I found that I was a little bit of an orphan my adopted bar, where I was on a corporate counsel registration, had a handful of things that they were doing. But I got the full court press from the Virginia State Bar and the corporate counsel section. During that period, we built a sort of virtual first mentoring program. And I got involved in that, got teed up with a mentor who the two of us were trying to accelerate our careers, admittedly at different levels. And so we had a lot of interests and things in common to talk about. And ultimately that relationship led into an invitation to serve on the board. And, now here I am, however many years that is, 5 years later, as the vice chair of the board, still as a Virginia lawyer and still not living in Virginia. So I just share that as an example of the types of career paths that you might find by engaging with folks in the in-house or in the corporate counsel section. We have a newsletter like the other sections have mentioned. We try to get ours out twice a year, often focused, again, less on substantive points of the law and more on practice or career development. And through all this, again, we just encourage you, whether it's through the awards, through the mentorship, and networking opportunities, through the newsletter, to give us a look and as I say, to find opportunities, again, whether it's with the corporate counsel section or another one, to engage and use that as a kickstart to your career. All right, Isabella, I think I managed to not steal everything you were going to say about the award. But just quickly, I'll introduce Isabella. She's a graduate of GW Law and a section member. As has been said, she's our latest Corporate Counsel Award winner. Like me, has spent some time in-house and at a firm. So Isabella, let me hand it over to you.
Thank you, Peter. Hi, everybody. My name is Isabella Capana. I started my career off in-house as legal counsel at a defense contractor in Virginia. And I am now with Burr & Forman as an associate in their government contracts and construction practice. When I was preparing to take the bar, I was frantically browsing the Virginia State Bar website, making sure that I was having everything in line. And that's how I came across the corporate counsel scholarship opportunity. And it was an immense help with covering bar prep costs. And I spent some time to look back at what I had submitted for my application. And it's a really great prompt. I highly recommend that you take a look at it because, reflecting now, although I am no longer in-house, it was really a great conversation starter and made me think about what the purpose of my career is in the legal field and what I can do to better it. And, with that, I definitely wish I got involved earlier on in my legal career. And given that I am still new, I am hoping to continue to expand my involvement. And if there's one piece of advice that I could leave you with, it would be to look for those opportunities to get involved both during law school and as you start your legal career. Even the smallest level of involvement can make a huge difference and give you a lot of confidence in a space that can feel a little daunting.
Thank you so much, Isabella and Peter, for sharing a little bit about the corporate counsel section's activities and for sharing a little bit about your own journeys and how you ended up here at the Virginia State Bar. I'm so glad that you're both staying involved. I'm going to pause for just a moment here just to see if anyone has any questions from the audience that you want to go ahead and submit. I encourage everyone to submit their questions, no matter how small, using the Q&A function. If a question comes to you later, you can always email us and we can try to connect you with that panelist. So I'll just wait for about 30 seconds. While we're waiting to see if there's any follow-up questions, I did want to very briefly promote our February Lunch and Learn. This webinar here was supposed to be our January Lunch and Learn. So we have another one next week, 2 in February, and that one is about access to justice here in the Commonwealth. So if that is something that you are interested in, we have a lunch and learn on the final report on the entry, growth, and distribution of Virginia attorneys. So it's a great way to stay plugged into what is going on in the pro bono field here in Virginia, and also just understanding where are the Virginia attorneys and You know, how can you get more involved? What are the recommendations and the key findings? So that information will be added to the follow-up email that we've mentioned. It does not look like we have any questions so far, so I think we can go ahead and wrap up. I want to just give my sincere thanks to our panelists today for coming on here, taking time out of their busy days to share a little bit about their sections and the opportunities for law students. For the law students that have joined us today, thank you for being here. What a wonderful first step to getting involved and getting in the know about what it means to be a Virginia lawyer. I've dropped a link in the chat for any feedback. So this is still a program that is evolving. So if you have suggestions for future webinars or just general feedback about how we go about our lunch and learns, please feel free to share that information. Thank you all again for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your afternoon.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank you.